We're back for our daily MLB Best Bets here for Saturday, April 26th. Yesterday, finally got back on the right track, looking for more of the same today. Real quickly, the Washington Nationals are so back. Walk-off hit from James Wood against the Mets. We're going to get into that later on in the video, but man, we are so back with the Washington Nationals, beating the Mets. Oh, I'm ecstatic. It doesn't get much better than that. Dylan Cruz hits a triple. Dylan Cruz has, 2 hits yesterday? Oh, it's great. 3 hits actually for Dylan Cruz. Yeah, the Nats are so back. Second place in the National League East. Watch out. Watch out, New York Mets. We're only 5.5 games back now. I'm just saying. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB best bets here on the channel. Later today, we'll have our NBA playoff predictions, 4 games today in the NBA, so make sure to check that out in a couple hours. You're actually in 2 hours here on the channel because of the early start. And also, later today is UFC Fight Night Kansas City. Ian Machado Gary versus Carlos Prates in the main event. Make sure to go check that out on Greedo Plays MMA. That link is in the description down below, and make sure to go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA while you're at it as well. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets for today. We start off with a money line play. We're actually going to start off with 2 money line picks, and then we're going to go on to the Nationals and then the Nerfy and the player prop. Our first money line of the day is the Cleveland Guardians here at home against the Boston Red Sox. Yesterday, these two teams got rained out in Cleveland, Ohio, so it's a doubleheader today. This is the first game of the doubleheader. We're going with the 10-10 start, and in this first game, I do really like Cleveland. I like the Guardians at home. First off, look at the pitching matchup. We get Tanner Houck versus Ben Lively. I think the Guardians are sending the better pitcher to the mound in Lively. This is a guy coming off a start in his last appearance in Pittsburgh. He goes 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, right? This is a guy on the season with a 3.86 ERA. Struggled some in starts against the Padres and the Royals, but against the Pirates and White Sox, he was really good. And this is a guy who's had to pitch on the road so far, for most of the season. And yeah, the Red Sox, again, a very capable team, but a squad that has dropped back-to-back games to close out their series with the Mariners, ultimately losing that series at home to Seattle 2-1. So, and even with Garrett Crochet, by the way, on the mound on Thursday, they still lost to Seattle. And they're sending Tanner Houck to the mound, a guy with a 7.66 ERA who is going to get blown up in every single start that he has, even in his last start. On Sunday, on Easter, he goes 6 innings against the Chicago White Sox. The Sox get 2 runs on him, and the White Sox ultimately win the game 8-4. The Red Sox have won 1 game all year long where Tanner Houck has started. It is the second game of the season, or second game that he pitched this season against the Baltimore Orioles, and a game in which he only pitched 4 innings. He goes 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. Nothing special in that game from Tanner Houck. The other games that he's pitched against the Rangers, he goes 5 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs. Blue Jays start 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run, actually his best start of the year. He gets blown up in his next start, only pitches 7 outs and gives up 10 hits and 12 runs. Yeah, this is a more than hittable pitcher for the Guardians, and I really think this team's just going to take advantage tonight. Now, the Guardians' bats have really have just looked concerning all year long. Other than their 2 top guys, we're obviously looking at J-Ram, Jose Ramirez, and Steven Kwan. Kwan's been great as always, batting .337 so far this year. J-Ram, I'm not worried about at all, batting .265 in the 3 spot. He's been very good. The rest of the team scares me, I'm not going to lie. You look at the rest of this lineup, Arias is hitting all right in the 2 spot, batting .270. Carlos Santana is going to give you some good nights, but then what? We have Weston Wilson, Martinez, Nolan Jones will get some maybes, Big Christmas, Joe Kenzie, Noel, Austin Hedges, Brian Rocchio. It's not a lineup I really like, I'm going to be honest with you. But this is a team so far this season that is 7-2 at home. They're coming off of winning 2 out of their last 3 games in their last series against the New York Yankees. And they're taking on a Sox team that's lost 2 of 3 at the same time. Now, the Red Sox, again, have good bats. I understand that. But in that last game that they played against the Mariners, again, I know it's just 1 game, but still, only 3 runs on 4 hits. 2 of those were Alex Bregman. 1 was Duran. The other one was Narvaez. But Devers is still batting .194. Bregman's great, we know that. But I mean, Tristan Casas in the lineup struggling. There are guys in this Red Sox lineup that are going to struggle. I'm not trying to sell you on Ben Lively and tell you that he's some, all-star pitcher. He's not. But at the same time, right, it's a very favorable matchup for Cleveland and a team, and a Guardians team, by the way, that's going to need help putting runs on the board because, again, with the exception of Kwan and Ramirez, there is a lack of run support. So against a pitcher like Tanner Houck, who has not been good all year long, I do think the Guardians get the first half here of the doubleheader. doubleheader. On top of that, again, right, Cleveland's playing this game at home. I like them a lot in this spot. Do I care what happens in the second half of the doubleheader? No, but in the first half, yes, we're going with the Cleveland Guardians to beat the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox are favored in this game. The Guardians are favored in the second, maybe just because Walker Buehler's starting the second game, but I like this one a lot more personally, and we get better odds, so it's a win-win, I think. We're going Cleveland Guardians money line here at home against the Boston Red Sox, minus 105 for the Guards. Next up, we go to our next money line. I like this equally as much. I'll be honest, I think I might like the Guardians better, but I don't mind this. Tigers-Orioles. Now, the only reason why I say I think I might like the Guardians more is one, value, slightly better value, and two, I do kind of feel that Baltimore is eventually going to explode and give you, a 10-run night. I feel like at this point it's just kind of like they're due. But then I look at the Detroit Tigers and I see, one of the best teams right now in the American League, if not maybe the best team in the American League. Hell, record-wise, they are the best team in the American League with a 15-10 record. This is a team coming off winning 2 of 3 at home against the San Diego Padres. Yesterday, like that Guardians-Red Sox series, they got rained out against the Baltimore Orioles, so it will be a doubleheader today. But again, this pick is for the first half of the doubleheader. Our pitching matchup will be Brandon Young and Casey Mize. Now, originally supposed to be Charlie Morton in this spot. Morton is now going for the second game, which is all right. Now, I kind of wanted to take advantage of the dinosaur on the mound for Baltimore because he's old. He doesn't really pitch with much velo anymore, and he just gets bombed on. But it's fine. You know what? We're going to take this spot instead. For the sole reason that Brandon Young's not good either. In his first start of the season, he goes 4 innings pitched against the Cincinnati Reds, who we know can be so lifeless at times. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run, 3 walks. Not a big strikeout guy, only 3 Ks in that game. And also at the same time, Casey Mize is pitching this one, who's been excellent. Guys, Mize over 4 starts this year, 3-1 record with a 2.22 ERA. His last start against the Kansas City Royals, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run. Prior to that, his toughest outing so far of the year against the Twins, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs. But then before that, right, back-to-back impressive starts against the Mariners and the New York Yankees, 5 2/3 shutout innings against the Mariners, and then 6 innings of 1-run baseball against the New York Yankees. Again, why I'm saying I think that I like the Guardians slightly more than this pick is just because, again, I feel like the Orioles can eventually explode. But until I see that, I'm not going to be willing to pick that, right? Baltimore loses 2 of 3 in Washington. Now, hey, the Nats are so back, but the Orioles do get their one game against the Nationals with a lefty on the mound in Cade Povich. They get a win over Mackenzie Gore, who leads the MLB in strikeouts right now. Now, the way to beat the Nationals, and we're going to talk about Washington baseball in a second here, but the way you beat them, at least it feels like this year, is soft-throwing lefties. And that's exactly what Cade Povich is. He goes 6 2/3 in that game, gives up 4 hits and only 1 run, and ultimately the Orioles win it with those 2 runs they score in the 5th inning with the Ryan O'Hearn single and the Cedric Mullins single. This lineup is still struggling mightily. In that win over the Nats, only 4 hits, right? Mullins, Westberg, Laureano, and Ryan O'Hearn were the only guys to get on base in that game, or at least, put balls in play for hits in that game. This is still a lineup that's struggling. Cedric Mullins has been ripping the baseball, right? Watching him throughout that National Series, he was great. I'm not going to deny that. But Adley Rutschman's still really struggling at the plate. I don't even think Rutschman had a hit in that entire series. Same with Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson's batting .203. He's struggling. Mountcastle's batting .230. Westberg got a hit in that last Nationals game, but he's still batting .193. Kjerstad is batting .228. Struck out 3 times against Mackenzie Gore. Ramon Laureano is batting .207. Jorge Mateo, who they're going to play some nights. And again, usually Jackson Holliday's the starter, but at times they're going to play Jorge Mateo, who bats .053. Not like Jackson Holliday's much better, but obviously he's serviceable. Holiday batting in the low 230s, right? It's just, this team's struggling, man. They're a struggling hitting team, and then you bring in a guy like Casey Mize, who's been having a great year so far, really finally coming into his own. This is what we've been talking about a little bit all year long with Casey Mize. Like, it was always going to take time for this guy. He's now 27, and he's officially looking like a very, I don't know if I can say elite, but just a very solid pitcher in this league, and the stats and the numbers and the games he's pitched so far completely reflects that. 2.22 ERA, and we just have to talk about this Tigers rotation with Mize, with Flaherty, with Joby, with Olsen, with Scuball. I mean, my goodness, there's a reason this team is first place in the American League right now. I've been high on the Tigers all year long, and in all fairness to the Cleveland Guardians, they're only a half game back of Detroit right now in the standings, but I really like this Tigers team. Their run differential this year, guys, is +30. in comparison to the Guardians, who are half a game back them. The Guards' run differential is -5. Right, I like the Tigers a lot. I think their pitching really takes them far. The Tigers' bats, it is what it is. I mean, they're going to find guys that are going to get things done. Gleyber Torres having a great season. Spencer Torkelson's been good. Zach McKinstry's been great. But obviously, if you're picking the Tigers, you're picking for them for their pitching. And with the bats, we just kind of think, they can kind of figure it out. And especially in a spot like this against Brandon Young, who has a 6.75 ERA in the season. I get it, it's only one start, but still, it's a very hittable pitcher for Detroit. And I think they're going to come through tonight. So give me the Detroit Tigers to win in the first half of the doubleheader against Brandon Young. We're taking Tigers money line here. It's even odds, but I like Detroit here at Comerica Park, -110 with the victory over the struggling Baltimore Orioles. Next up, we go to our Washington Nationals best bet of the day. Before we get into that, my goodness, the Nationals last night. A huge come-from-behind victory against the New York Mets. The Nationals finally come through with some clutch hitting after a bloop triple by Mark Vientos in a right field. The Nationals respond to the bottom of the ninth. Dylan Cruz, who we've been saying is continuing to improve. He's now batting in the 220s or high 210s. Dylan Cruz belts a triple in a right field. Jose Tena hits him in with an RBI single. CJ Abrams eventually finds his way on first base after a couple fielder's choice plays, and James Wood hit back up the middle, and CJ Abrams goes first to home on a ground ball up the middle. Say what you want about Jeff McNeil's effort, but my goodness, the Nats are so back. Maybe the fastest team in all of baseball. That's maybe the best Nationals moment, I'm serious, since Kemi Nara's grand slam against Max Scherzer. I'm not joking. I mean, this is the most hope I have ever had for the Nationals. Playoffs or not this season, it finally feels like this young core is here to stay. Cruz, Abrams, Wood, the story of the bottom of the ninth to win the game for the Nats. And, we can bury now the Jose A. Ferrer blunder, and not even just blunder, it's just a bad outing for Ferrer. I mean, I will say, Davey Martinez, why are we pitching Jose Ferrer in 3 straight games? And we also had to pitch Kyle Finnegan for, albeit 4 pitches yesterday, but that does matter. And I guess Finnegan is going to be able to pitch today, but, the Nats don't get another rest day till next Thursday. They have 3 more games against the Mets all the way till Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or the next off day's Friday, because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they have games against the Philadelphia Phillies. Can the Nats get another one tonight, though? They're 2 games under 500. They're 12-14. Again, I only look at this because I'm a Nationals fan, but it is what it is. Guys, they're 2 games out the playoffs right now. The wild card right now is the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 6th spot. They're 14-12. The Nats are 12-14. Yes, we are 26 games into the season, but those are the type of things I look at. I'm going to be honest. Now, today we don't even need the Nationals to win. I'm going to be hoping they win this baseball game, but I think there's great value in taking Nationals spread here. Now, hopefully we don't get screwed like we did with the White Sox game against the Minnesota Twins in Minneapolis with the rain out because the spread just voids, but the Nationals finally broke that huge Mets winning streak, and say what you want about the triple play, I don't care, honestly. I mean, baseball's a game of luck sometimes, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know what you want me to say. The Nats finally snapped that long Mets winning streak, and tonight, we just need them to keep this game close. They can lose by 1 run, and we still win our bet. On top of that, I think the Nationals are more than capable of beating New York today. Pitching matchup, Clay Holmes, Brad Lord. Likely Brad Lord's final start, at least for a little bit here for the Nationals. We expect to see Michael Soroka back for his next scheduled start, likely on, probably Friday? Yes. No, he'll be back on Thursday. Oh, we'll see. Against the Phillies on the road, against Taijuan Walker. We'll see if Soroka's back for that. Soroka making starts right now in Double-A Harrisburg. He got hit up pretty bad in his first Double-A start with the Senators, so we'll see. But yeah, Soroka is the last guy in this rotation. Shout out to Cade Cavalli, who might be back soon. I low-key think Cavalli's going to be back in a bullpen role, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, Brad Lord possibly making his final start before he goes back to the bullpen here for the Nationals. Lord's been okay. He's been serviceable. Not a guy I'm really going to rely on or anything. The Nats are actually 1-4 in Brad Lord pitched games. But in Brad Lord starts, they're 1-2, albeit the 1 victory against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think Brad Lord's going to give us some innings today. Clay Holmes pitching for the Mets, right? Reliever turned starter. He's been good this season. has only gone 6 innings once this year, so he's not going to give you the most length, obviously, and we knew that out of Clay Holmes coming in the offseason, obviously, right, transitioning from reliever to starter, going from New York Yankees to New York Mets. He's hittable, though. He's very hittable, and I think, again, the Nats' bats are so hot right now. I wouldn't say they're hot, I'm going to be honest, but they're explosive, right, and they're electric. If you can get guys on bases, yes, C.J. Abrams is going to do what he did on the walk-off. James Wood's going to hit the ball very hard somewhere. Dylan Cruz is going to continue to blast the baseball as well. And now that Dylan Cruz's average is 214, I think it's time we can seriously have this conversation about him batting second again. The Nationals lineup every single day, and I don't care what comes after. I will give you my mock lineup, but what the Nationals should bat every single day is Abrams, Cruz, Wood. That's your 1, 2, 3 for the next 10 seasons. 10 seasons. That's your 1, 2, 3 should never change. From there, I mean, I'd go Nathaniel Lowe in the 4. I'd go Keibert Ruiz in the 5. I'd go Luis Garcia in the 6 personally. Depends if Alex Call is playing or Jacob Young. But then I'd go probably Josh Bell in the 7. I'd go Jose Tena in the 8, and honestly, or / Ahmed Rosario, whatever pitching matchup we get. And then in the 9, yeah, I'd probably just go Alex Call / Jacob Young. Even if Call's playing, who's been great this season, he's batting .304. I just hit him in the 9 at that point. Now the Nats are going to continue to likely bat Cruz 7 behind Josh Bell for a while, but that needs to change, I'm going to be honest. I think the Nats are going to do well against Clay Holmes tonight. I really think so. I think they're going to find ways to hit him early, and if you can, get runs off of Holmes early, you can be successful. That's what the Nats do. They kind of feels like this season now they can bounce back and got a clutch win yesterday, but this team is going to find ways to score runs early in outings, and then obviously yesterday, like we saw with Senga, right? Really, finishing that game strong. If they can get on Holmes early, they can start a lot of problems for the Mets, and I think that's what they're going to do. So I'm taking Nats plus 1.5. They don't even have to win this game. I think they're going to, I'm going to be honest, but plus 1.5, I'm going to be generous here at the pick, and we get great value for it as well, right? The Nats don't even have to win the baseball game, and it's still minus 105. So Nationals plus 1.5 here at home. Yeah, it feels like Nats Park has been invaded by Mets fans, which just bugs the absolute living shit out of me, but it is what it is. Nats plus 1.5. Again, objects appear closer than they are closer than they may appear. So it is what it is. Next up, we go to our daily best player prop, and we go back to Sacramento, California for the Athletics versus the Chicago White Sox. I went to the game yesterday. I came back from it. I'm wearing a White Sox jersey. It is what it is. Yeah, it's 4:30. Oh, you can't see this. It's 4:30 in the morning as I'm recording this right now because I got back pretty late, but regardless, we're going another A's player prop. Yesterday, Tyler Soderstrom hit for us. It was over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. He easily cleared that mark because Soderstrom is that guy for the Athletics. Hell, he had 3 hits, so he cleared that line just on hits. And again, he scored and he drove in runs at the same time. So that was an easy winner for us. Today, we're going to switch it up with A's players. We're going Jacob Wilson now instead of Tyler Soderstrom. Guys, if I was impressed by one player from the A's yesterday, it was Jacob Wilson. Right, hit the walk-off earlier in the week for the Athletics. By the way, this team is now playing 500 baseball. They're 13-13. But Jacob Wilson now batting .347 on the season. And honestly, I just feel like this line's a steal at this point. I think the guy's going to continue this hot streak. I get prior to yesterday, he hadn't hit on this line in a while. He went 4 straight games with just 1 hit, and those are just singles. But that's fine, right? Yesterday against the White Sox, a home run, plus 2 singles as well. Great outing for him. Today, we just need over 1.5 total bases. So, right, 2 singles, a double, or a home run, or hell, a triple, obviously, would do that for us. I think we're going to get that because they're playing the White Sox, right? The A's win that first game against Chicago. I think the Athletics realized, all right, we're playing the White Sox. This is a team that we're way better than, obviously. We got to take advantage of this, try to get back over 500 for the first time in a while. And Jonathan Cannon, who I do actually like. I said this before. I really like the White Sox starting rotation. I think they give you solid innings. But the thing here for the A's is that this is the second time they faced Cannon this year. The first time it was in Chicago. Cannon goes 4 1/3 of scoreless baseball, only gives up 3 hits. But this is going to be the second time that the Athletics have seen Jonathan Cannon. It was somewhat of a mystery to them the first time they got to see Cannon this season. And Jonathan Cannon, who I do like, will give up runs and is kind of easy to chase out of the game early. This is a guy who's 0-3 this year in terms of his record, in terms of games that he's pitched for the White Sox. Chicago's lost every single one. They are 0-5 in games that Jonathan Cannon has started. Again, and the ERA is 4.81. This is a guy that's going to get hit up, I believe, in this spot just against the Athletics. Small ballpark in Sacramento, which is honestly, I like it. I feel like, again, it's pretty much a full crowd for the most part in Sacramento, which makes it cool. Again, going to it for the first time yesterday. But the Athletics should be able to chase Cannon out this game early, and they should be able to get to this bullpen early. And I truly believe, I think the A's are going to really bat a lot tonight. And on top of that, right, Jacob Wilson's a batter. Limited sample size, obviously, this season, right? But this is a guy who's batting .350 this year with 3 home runs and 14 RBI. The guy's legit. He's legit. Had the walk-off home run a couple days ago. Hits a home run for the A's yesterday to get them back in that game. Big time. Jacob Wilson is legit for the Athletics, and he's going to continue to prove that. Now, it depends where he's batting. I mean, obviously, we're taking this regardless. Yesterday, Jacob Wilson, I believe, was batting in the 6th spot behind Shea Langeliers and JJ Bleday. I wouldn't be surprised to see them move him even higher up in the lineup, like probably into the 5 above Bleday, and just go, right, Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, Tyler Soderstrom, Shea Langeliers, and then Wilson, and then go, Bleday, Kurtz, Urshela, Urias. But we'll see. If Jacob Wilson keeps in the ball like this, maybe you bat him in the 1, honestly, and then just go Wilson, Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom, just bump everyone back down, right? Wilson was a little bit underwhelming, obviously, to start his major league career. I understand he got injured in his first game playing at the Oakland Coliseum. But I really like what we've been getting out of Jacob Wilson this year. And the A's won yesterday, right? 6-5. Mason Miller gave up his first 2 runs of the season. Still notched the save, though, as Brooks Baldwin, by the way, of all people, took him yard. That was something. That was a shock, I'll be honest. But the A's still won. This is a good-looking team. I've been saying this all year long. I made a very bold claim at the beginning of the season. I thought this team was going to win the American League West. The East is impossible. I don't know about that. We'll see. But I like the A's a lot this year, and I really like this young core, man. Jacob Wilson's hitting the crap out of the baseball right now, and he's going to continue to do it tonight over 1.5 total bases for Jacob Wilson. Final best bet of the video, we move to our daily Nerfy of the day. Odds aren't crazy on this, honestly. I mean, this is, it's about even for this Nerfy, compared to if you want to go over on the runs scored in the first inning. We got our gift back yesterday on the Nerfy, right? We perfectly picked a 1-0 baseball game started by both Shane Baz and Michael King over in San Diego between the Rays and the Padres. So not to pat myself on the back here, but I felt like it was a pretty good play. Anyways, today our Nerfy is going to be in Los Angeles, California, Dodgers versus Pirates. I purposely stayed away from the Nerfy yesterday with this game, kind of just because of the, the odds that we were getting. Paul Skeens is legit. He's the best pitcher in the MLB. I firmly believe that at this point. I mean, the guy goes 6 1/3, 2.39 ERA now in the season, but 6 1/3, 0 runs, 9 strikeouts against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah, the guy's really good at baseball. I just don't know what to say. He's going to get the highest paid contract in Major League history for a starting pitcher. He's just going to. He's insane, man. He just is. Anyways, we don't care who wins this game. I hope the Pirates do it because we are on all-time Dodgers hate watch at all times, and the Dodgers have now lost 3 consecutive games in a row. However, the pitching matchup tonight I do think can get us outs. After an eventful first inning yesterday where the Pittsburgh Pirates were able to score on Yoshinobu Yamamoto, it was a Valdez single that drove in O'Neal Cruz. After, again, scoring in the first inning yesterday, I think we see no runs in the first today. I'd be more concerned, obviously, with the Dodgers scoring on Mitch Keller, and that's why it's always hard at times to pick Dodgers Nerfies. But hear me out here. I think Roki Sasaki is going to get outs against the Pirates, right? The Pirates, we've talked about this before, they kind of get this newfound confidence every time Paul Skeens pitches. Now, there will be nights where they completely lay an egg. But again, when you get a guy like Skeens on the mound, you get an all-star pitcher and one of the best pitchers in the league pitching, you kind of get that confidence like, hey, we can win any game given to us, right? We can go out there and win games like this because we have this guy pitching for us, right? With Mitch Keller, the Pirates kind of just returned back to the Pirates, and they're just a mediocre hitting team. I'm really not concerned about the Pirates scoring on Sasaki here in the first inning. Sasaki's been up and down this year, but honestly, he's been more good than bad, for being honest, since that second start and first start in LA. O'Neal Cruz, yes, he can blast something. Brian Reynolds, Andrew McCutchen, Valdez, who's okay. I think Sasaki's fine there. Mitch Keller, I've been kind of up and down this year, 4.18 ERA. I think he can get 3 outs. The Dodgers have gone 9 straight innings without scoring a run. I think they can go 1 more. And I get it. You're going to see Ohtani, you're going to see Betts, you're going to see Freeman. Guys, Shohei Ohtani, quietly hasn't been that good this year. I'm just going to be honest. Yes, the home run numbers are up, and you're going to see every time he hits a home run, you're going to see it on ESPN, you're going to see the MLB tweet about it. Oh my God, Shohei Ohtani! But the guy's batting .250. He's got 6 home runs, which is great. He's got 8 RBI on the year. Okay, he's playing better than Juan Soto, obviously, with these 2 guys with massive contracts, but it's just he hasn't been the best. I'm just being honest. He hasn't been the best. Now, again, Ohtani's still obviously very good, but not compared to what he was doing last season, and I expect him to turn that up. But anyways, in the first inning here, hell, we saw Paul Skeens run through the Dodgers. I know Mitch Keller is nowhere near him, but I think Mitch Keller is able to get us 3 outs. Of Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, I know is always risky taking the Dodgers on the Nerfy, but I'm going to do it here. I think Sasaki can get us outs, and I think Mitch Keller can get us outs against the Dodgers as well over at Chavez Ravine. We're going with the Nerfy here in Los Angeles, California. Get us 6 outs, and let's get out of here for the nightcap. We're going Dodgers, Pirates, Nerfy to end the day. So folks, thank you all for watching our MLB Best Bets here for April 26th. If you haven't yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.